Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Jessica Devereaux in Baltimore. The acting Speaker of Brazil's lower house of Congress annulled the impeachment process against Brazil's President Dilma Rousseff. This is a stunning turn of events since the lower house of Congress voted to impeach Rousseff, and the Senate was expected to vote to put Rousseff on trial this Wednesday. Now let's turn to our reporter who is there on the ground in South America following this story, Gregory Wilpert. Thanks for being with us, Greg.
My pleasure.
So, Greg, just give us some more details here. Who exactly is this speaker, and why did he annul the impeachment vote?
Yes, the speaker is Vladimir Marau. I'm probably not pronouncing his name correctly, but he is an interim speaker who just took office because the previous speaker, Eduardo Cunha, had been released or suspended from office for corruption. And so anyway, Vladimir represents, the current interim speaker represents the Progressive Party, which is a conservative party that was in coalition with the Workers' Party, but has turned against Dilma Rousseff. So he's in office and as president of the lower house, and decided that essentially the previous impeachment vote was irregular, that it didn't proceed according to the established rules and procedures, and therefore should be annulled. So it really, like you said, it represents a pretty dramatic turn of events. And we're still speculating a bit as to what exactly is behind it.
Okay. There will be some folks who look at this and say, this doesn't seem very democratic. I mean, you have a lower house of Congress taking a vote, deciding on something, and then the speaker saying that the process wasn't, there were some irregularities. So give us a sense of what the reaction has been in terms of different factions of the government, business, and just everyday people.
Well, first of all, he reacted, he made that decision on the request of the Attorney General, and there seems to be a good reason for it, which is that when they made the original vote, people were giving all kinds of reasons for why they voted to impeach Dilma Rousseff, and almost none of them had anything to do with the formal charges against her.
Can you just bring up those charges again to remind our viewers?
Sure. Those charges were that she covered up a budget deficit in an election year, that she covered it up by taking out loans from state banks and to make it look like there was no deficit in that year in order to run for re-election. She didn't actually benefit, that is materially benefit. She didn't steal any money or anything like that. It was more of an accounting trick in order to run for a re-election. But when they voted on this impeachment in the lower house last month, none of them really brought up that issue. They brought up all kinds of issues about supposed corruption of Dilma Rousseff, or because, I don't know, they brought up ridiculous reasons too. And so the current president of the lower house said this is not normal. This isn't the way it's supposed to go. And so the vote has to be retaken. And so that, of course, throws up in the air as to what's going to happen for the Senate vote, which was scheduled for this Wednesday. The senators are saying that they want to proceed anyway. So this creates a real mess for the political system. That is, if the Senate, which is supposed to go after the lower house, has its vote technically first now because of the annulled vote. So people are reacting in all kinds of different ways. I mean, of course, there's the stock markets and so on, which have just nosedived briefly, and so did the currency. And then there's, of course, the people in the opposition who are outraged at this. And like I said, the senators are proceeding anyway. And then there's, of course, the supporters of Dilma Rousseff who are sighing a big relief because of this decision.
All right. There's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen next. But, Greg, I know you'll be on top of it. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on the Real News Network.